Hi everybody, Ron Placone here. So of course on Media Bites last week, the Lost episode, we did talk about the Supreme Court rulings in regards to gay rights. Of course they gave us something to celebrate with gay rights, and then they gave us something to be very discouraged about with voting rights. It's kind of give and take, and all of a sudden they made all these decisions. But there was an article that I wanted to share, and of course it aired on the episode and then it was lost in the shuffle when I wasn't able to get that archived episode, but I still wanted to share it on YouTube because it's kind of significant. And this is from CNN. It's by Mani Basu, and it's a little older, but it was updated on June the 25th. So still a little bit older, but it was updated since it was first written. And it's about a couple, Melanie Cervantes and Claudia Amaro. Now they were two women that met and they fell in love, and one was from Brazil. I believe it was Claudia that was from Brazil, so the two could not get married and gain permanent residency. Cervantes' partner is a woman, Claudia Merrill. If she were a man, the two could get married, and Cervantes could apply for her spouse to be admitted to the United States and eventually gain permanent residency. But current immigration law does not allow a U.S. citizen in a same-sex relationship to sponsor his or her spouse partner. Now, of course, given the recent rulings, they're now able to do that. So the Supreme Court is poised to hand down decisions on two gay marriage cases Wednesday. Again, this is in the past. This has happened by now. The last day of the court's term. One involves the constitutionality of Proposition 8, a California referendum that banned gay marriage, same-sex marriage. If Prop 8 is struck down, Cervantes could marry Amaro in her home state just like she could in the District of Columbia, but that marriage would be invisible as far as immigration law is concerned. Cervantes could not sponsor her wife because of DOMA, which prohibits the federal government from recognizing same-sex marriage. Of course, if the justices strike down DOMA, binational gay couples will gain the same immigration rights as heterosexual married couples. Now, and they go through their story, and they also go through a couple other different stories. Now, this is a common journalistic thing to apply a face to things, to apply a story to it, because we are all, in essence, just, language-using storytellers, really. I mean, that's really how we communicate. When you strip it all down, we communicate in the essence of a story. So, of course, in journalism, you're going to have examples, and especially examples that kind of, pull on one's heartstrings, that are relatable, different conflicts, and just wanting to be with your loved one. I mean, we can all relate to love. That's something we all know. Why this particular piece, I think, is very interesting and worth pointing out. I think prior to, the recent Supreme Court rulings, or, the time period leading up to these rulings, gay rights was still, as a whole, in the mass media, the mainstream media, kind of just casted as this political issue that really didn't have a face. When they talked about gay rights, it would be very, very distant, kind of just saying, well, some people are opposed to this because of whatever religious narrative they subscribe to, as if it were just some political issue or some, hot-button issue. But really, this is an issue that affects people. This is an issue that affects, and not just any people, but people that are your neighbors, that are your fellow citizens. So I think by highlighting these individual cases and really putting a face on the issue of gay rights, the mainstream media has really finally helped, and pushing this issue forward. Now, to a lot of people that have been in favor of gay rights for a long time, for people that are members of the LGBT community and supporters of the LGBT community, this may seem very obvious. You may be thinking, well, of course, Ron, that's a no-brainer. But really, I mean, when you look at the way gay rights has been covered in the mainstream media, and still is to a degree, this is kind of a significant step forward, coming from CNN. This is kind of putting a face to this issue, putting a human element to this issue, that it goes beyond, just checking a certain box on a booth, that these are real people that are your fellow citizens that are affected. That's a step that is long overdue to be taken by the media, but nonetheless, it has finally been taken. So I think that's a very big victory, but I don't think this is a victory just by the mainstream media, for the mainstream media's sake. I think that the mainstream media took this step because we the people kind of demanded it, because it became obvious in the public sphere that the majority of Americans are in favor of gay rights and do want to, move over these issues, and they do want to see all the people in this country to have equal opportunity when it comes to who you can marry and who you can love. So I thought this was worth pointing out. I'm sorry it's a little late. Again, this article from CNN.com by Mani Basu is from June, so it's a little late. And of course, you can find a lot of articles out there like this. This is just one that I wanted to highlight. That's an example that says right here, boom, we are putting a face to gay rights, because the majority of people, they already see that face. They already see their fellow neighbors being persecuted against, and we the people are sick of it. And the mainstream media is finally catching on. So, this gives us reason to be happy. There's a lot going on right now that gives us reason to be discouraged. But this is definitely a victory, not just for the LGBT community, but for everybody. Because, we're all affected when fellow citizens are persecuted against and discriminated against. So this is good. This is a good thing, and that's something uplifting from Media Bites. And again, sorry you couldn't catch it at first on air, but I did want to revisit this because I thought it was worth sharing. So this is Ron Placone signing out.